Waste management means how do you exactly dispose of the waste and what are the plans before the organization to dispose the waste. The 5 R's of waste management are a set of principles that guide the efforts to reduce environmental impact of the waste. So another objective of waste management is to promote public awareness and education about responsible waste disposal and recycling practices. Hello everyone, I'm Purnima, faculty at the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram, First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. I welcome you all to this session. In this session 1 on Unit 5, that is Maintenance and Waste Management, we will be discussing about what is maintenance and what is waste management. Now let us understand what is the meaning of the word waste management. Waste management refers to the various schemes to manage and dispose of the waste. So waste management means how do you exactly dispose of the waste and what are the plans before the organization to dispose the waste. It can be by discarding, destroying, processing, recycling, reusing or controlling the waste. So the prime objective of waste management is to reduce the amount of unusable materials and to avert potential health and environmental hazards. So, whatever the waste which comes out of our industries, they have to be properly managed. So, if you don't manage the waste properly, it may lead to health and environmental hazards. So, in order to see that there is no health and environmental hazard, we have to look into the aspect of waste management. So it is a system, a streamlined process that the organizations use to dispose of, reduce, reuse and prevent the waste. So in order to prevent waste, what are the various options before the organization? So that is a part of waste management. So it is also known as waste disposal. It is an approach where companies implement comprehensive strategies to effectively manage waste from their origin until their final disposal. So, this waste disposal is a part of waste management. So, they try to see that how to manage the waste until they are disposed. Possible waste disposable methods are recycling, composting, incineration, landfills, bioremediation, waste to energy and waste minimization. So what are the various disposal methods? Recycling. So try to recycle whatever the waste is coming out of the company. Next one is composting. So try to see that the waste gets degenerated and can be converted into manure. Incineration, just burn off the waste, then use it for landfills. Then bioremediation. So try to see that if there is any biological remedy for just disposing of the waste to energy, that is transforming the waste into energy, and waste minimization. Try to reduce as much waste as little as possible. Then the next, there are multiple waste management strategies and methods available. These strategies can be combined or rearranged to form a waste management system that fits an organization. The modern waste management strategies are geared towards sustainability. Other alternatives for waste disposal is reduce, reuse and recycle the waste. Reduce, reuse and recycle. So these are the main ways through which the waste can be reduced. Now, let us understand the concept of recycling. What do we mean by recycling? It is also known as physical reprocessing. Recycling is ideal for the disposal of inorganic waste such as plastic, glass and metals. So, for organic waste, it gets decomposed into manure, but for inorganic waste like plastics, glass and metals, it has to be recycled. Though organic waste such as paper and food can also be recycled, composting would be a better waste disposal method as it converts organic waste into nutrient-rich fertilizer. So though we can just recycle the paper and food items, whatever, into another product, so it is better to just convert it into a composting is a better method of getting rid of this paper and food waste, because it will come up with a nutrient-rich fertilizer for agriculture. Next, second one is waste to energy. So waste to energy is the conversion of non-recyclable waste into heat. So waste to energy means you are converting the non-recyclable waste into heat, electricity or fuel using the renewable energy sources such as anaerobic digestion and plasma gasification. So you are converting the waste into a source of energy. So you can convert it into heat energy, electricity energy or fuel. So that is one way of getting rid of the waste. Then the next one is anaerobic digestion. Now, what do we mean by anaerobic digestion? The biological reprocessing of animal manure and human excreta into methane-rich biogas. So, whatever the animal manure we are getting and the human excreta, both are converted into a methane-rich biogas. Plasma gasification uses a plasma-filled vessel operating at high temperatures and low levels of oxygen to transform hazardous waste into syngas. So this syngas is also a form of fuel which is used for various purposes. Another option for disposing of hazardous waste is bioremediation, the treatment of contaminants, toxins and pollutants through microorganisms. So bioremediation means that you are treating the contaminants, toxins and the pollutants through microorganisms. So with the help, you are introducing microorganisms into the waste which will eat away all the toxins and the pollutants, so that whatever waste is left over, it can go in for manure purposes. Then the 5 R's of waste management. The 5 R's of waste management are a set of principles that guide the efforts to reduce environmental impact of the waste. The 5 R's are, first one is refuse. Now, what do we refuse? It involves saying no to things that are not necessary, such as single-use plastics or excessive packaging. Say no to certain things which are not necessary. For example, excessive packaging. You are having a plastic sheet, over that a carton box, again a rat box, again a wooden box. So if you have multiple layers of packaging, you should refuse it, because it leads to ultimately more waste. Then second one is reduce. This emphasizes the importance of minimizing the amount of waste generated by using fewer resources and being more conscious of consumption. So reduce means try to make as little use of the resources and being more conscious about consumption. Then next one is reuse. Instead of disposing items after a single use, consider finding ways to reuse them. It involves repurposing items or using durable goods that have a longer lifespan. So try to make use of the products which can be reused. Then fourth one is repurpose. This involves giving the items a new purpose or use, extending their lifespan and reducing the waste. So whatever items are coming, you give them a new use and just increase the lifespan and reduce the waste. Then the last one is recycling. It involves processing used material into new products, reducing the need for raw materials and lowering the overall environmental impact. So recycling means you processing the used materials into new products. So whatever you are planning to throw away, make use of it, convert into a new product, reduce the need for raw material. So in this way, we will be reducing the need for raw material and lowering the overall impact. So whatever you are throwing away to the environment, you are making use of it, giving a new form, and again selling it in the market. So in this way, you will be reducing the raw material intake, and secondly, you will be protecting the environment also. Then the 5 R's of waste management. So these principles are aimed at promoting responsible and sustainable waste management practices and encouraging individuals and businesses to be more mindful of the consumption and disposal habits. So if you are making use of these 5 R's for waste management, then it will be very good for it will encourage individuals and businessmen to be more mindful of their consumption and disposable habits. A lot of garbage is generated daily by businesses of all sizes. It is critical to treat waste management responsibly to protect the environment. Waste and recycling services can become expensive, but there are ways to save on these expenses. So before discussing the various perspectives, it is essential to answer the question, what are the main objectives of waste management? The primary goals. So what are the ultimately the main objectives of waste management? The first one is reduce pollution effect. So it is because of the waste only we are having lot of pollution, whether it is air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, etc. And we have to reduce the pollution effect. Second one is it is vital to lower the impact garbage has on pollution. So whatever garbage we are dumping into the environment, it is creating lot of pollution. So the effects of it are very, very hazardous. The food residue can emit toxic methane as it rots. So whatever the food, when it rots, it is giving out methane gas. So it is very toxic. And on a global level, methane gas adds to the greenhouse effect and warms the planet. So because of this methane gas, there is a warming of the planet. A significant portion of garbage is the food waste. Now, this food waste is the reason for releasing the methane gas into the environment. Handling food scraps properly can reduce pollution and its ill effects on earth. For example, composting organic waste can divert substantial trash from landfills and create nutrient-rich soil for agriculture and gardening. So, if the food waste can be recycled into a compost, then we can have a nutrient-rich soil for agriculture and gardening. So, instead of making landfills out of this trash, we can make use of that land for agriculture. Then, next one is protect groundwater sources. Poorly handled waste can end up in rivers, oceans, and other water sources, polluting the water and contaminating the soil below it. Marine animals become endangered. The appropriate waste management system helps safeguard limited water sources and preserve rare marine species. So, with the help of this, so if you can, if you are releasing the water, all the waste water into the rivers, then it will be polluting our rivers, oceans, and other water sources. So the marine animals which are living in the water, they are also getting endangered. So the best way is to safeguard the limited water sources and preserve rare marine species. So the main aim of waste management is to preserve the marine species, and also you should safeguard the limited water resources we have. Then the next one is ensure sustainability. There are ways to save money by reducing waste, but it's essential to use natural resources to do so. So you should make use of the natural resources to save money. Engaging in practices that help protect nature creates an outstanding balance between the environment and the businesses. So Engaging in practices that help protect nature creates an outstanding balance between environment and businesses. It helps create economic benefits while protecting the environment. Furthermore, waste management aims to foster innovation and development of advanced technologies for waste treatment and resource recovery. So, with the help of waste management, we are able to develop and innovate ways of reducing the waste. So, investing in research and technological advancement can lead to more efficient waste to energy conversion, improved recycling processes, and creation of valuable products from waste materials, reducing our dependence on the finite resources. So, by making use of the waste, whatever we are able to throw, so if you are able to recycle it, reuse it, and give it a new form, or you're making use of waste to energy, so all this will help in reducing the dependence on the variable resources. Then next one is promote public awareness. So another objective of waste management is to promote public awareness and education about responsible waste disposal and recycling practices. So there should be a public awareness about the waste disposal and recycling practices. Community engagement and educational campaigns encourage people to adopt sustainable habits and participate actively in waste separation and recycling programs. So, people should be made aware of how to separate the garbage, that is the wet waste and the dry waste, and also try to recycle whatever waste they have, so that we can reduce the waste which is being dumped into the environment. Next, foster social equality, equity, and inclusion. It is also essential to ensure waste management practices are socially equitable and inclusive, benefiting all communities regardless of social economic status. So, this waste management practices are socially equitable and inclusive, because of which we are including everybody, and there is no difference in the socio-economic status of the people. So, implementing fair and accessible waste collection system ensures everyone can participate in waste reduction efforts and enjoy a cleaner, healthier environment. So, if we can manage the waste in a better way, then we can all enjoy a cleaner and a healthier environment. The main objective is to protect natural resources and the earth while saving money. So, embracing these objectives can lead to a cleaner, more sustainable world. Visit the Waste Control Inc. website to know more about how to reduce the waste and the cost. So, the next part of the topic is types of maintenance. Now, what are the different types of maintenance we have in the company? Planned maintenance means that the organization is prepared for a breakdown and even expects it to happen. So, in this maintenance, we are talking about types of maintenance. We are talking about breakdown maintenance. So, in this breakdown maintenance, we have the planned maintenance. It means that the organization is prepared for a breakdown and even expects it to happen. The equipment runs until it breaks, which initiates a run to failure trigger. So, you know that the equipment is going to break down, and you see that you are running the equipment until its breakdown. So, this is what we call it as the RTF, or the RTF trigger, that is the run to failure trigger. Where RTF trigger can be unplanned, breakdown maintenance plans using RTF as a way of lowering the cost of maintenance. So, this breakdown maintenance is one of the way of lowering the cost of maintenance. This kind of a plan needs to be rigorously documented and controlled. Employees should be clear on exactly which parts will break down and which parts will be maintained normally via preventive maintenance. Without these checks, a breakdown maintenance plan can be exploited or run away. So, even though you have a planned maintenance, we should be able to know where exactly which part of the machinery will break down, and we have to just see that with the help of preventive maintenance. Without these checks, it will be exploited or a runaway. Then the second one is unplanned breakdown maintenance. So this unplanned breakdown maintenance occurs when a piece of equipment fails or breaks unexpectedly, also called as unplanned downtime event. So when a piece of the machinery just breaks away, so that is called as the unplanned breakdown event. So while some facilities may not utilize a planned maintenance plan, nearly every facility needs resources in place for unplanned maintenance. After all, every piece of equipment will break or fault at some point in its life. Now, in this unplanned maintenance, we can see that nearly every facility needs resources in place for unplanned maintenance. So, every piece of equipment will break at some point of its life. Then, next one is condition-based maintenance. So, it is sometimes considered to be more advanced alternative to preventive maintenance. So, condition-based maintenance, rather than being inspected according to a schedule, machines and systems are carefully observed for changes that could indicate upcoming failure. So, condition-based maintenance means you are observing the machinery for any kind of a failure. So, with condition-based maintenance, technicians observe the system running and identify variables that could affect the functioning like temperature, vibration speed, power, presence or absence of moisture and more. So, in this condition-based maintenance, the technicians, they will be observing the various variables that could affect the functioning like the temperature of the machine, the vibration speed, the power, the presence or absence of moisture, etc. Then the next one is corrective maintenance. So it is initiated when a problem is discovered while working on another work order. So with corrective maintenance, issues are caught just in time. So the problem is discovered when you are working with another work order. So not the regular work order. So with another work order, the problem comes. So this kind of corrective maintenance issues are caught just in time. For example, during a scheduled maintenance check or while fixing another issue, a maintenance technician notices that a pipe in a HVAC system is not working as it should. Corrective maintenance is then scheduled for a future date where the problem is repaired or replaced. So, if you observe that any one of the part is not working well, then you try to see that at a future date that part is changed and the correction is done. Then next one, what are the advantages? Failed equipment can lead to disastrous consequences, but a clearly documented maintenance plan can actually have a few significant benefits for an organization. So, this kind of a maintenance plan will help actually give benefits to the organization. It minimizes the maintenance cost by cutting out unnecessarily preventive maintenance. So we can cut costs with the help of preventive maintenance, then lowers the cost of replacing disposable items frequently. So that is lights, bulbs, tools, fuses, etc. Then downtime for repairs is consolidated, low staffing needs, simple and easy to understand when maintenance is required. So, it is simple and easy to understand where maintenance is required. Next, what are the disadvantages? The downsides of breakdown maintenance are, it is important to weigh given the nature of the maintenance plan. For example, breakdown maintenance should never be used with safety equipment because a single lapse can cost one or multiple employees their health or their lives. So, it is essential to take extra care when we are having this breakdown maintenance. So where we should not use the machinery along with the safety equipment, because a single lapse may cause the death of the employees also. Form of waste management in a manufacturing environment. Then safety issues can occur with unplanned failures, can be costly depending on the parts that fail. It requires careful planning and execution and can be difficult to pinpoint the source of issues. Then next part of the chapter is spares planning and control. Spare parts management purpose is to provide the right parts, the right quantity, right place, right time, with the right level of quality and the least total cost to the organization. So, the spare parts management, the main objective of spare parts management is to provide the right part, right quantity, right place at the right time. Effective management of maintenance spare parts, it is a crucial contributor to equipment operating performance and to the cost of the maintenance investment. So, this is it is a critical contributor to equipment operating performance and also to the cost of maintenance investment. The scope can therefore include all functions from the supplier through to the point of use. So, identification and coding, criticality, classification, procurement, quality inspection, stocking policies, links to work planning, kitting, staging, supplier management, and internal performance. So all these are the all these are the various issues before the space planning and control. Then what are the various ways in which we can have the better spares planning and control? The first one is identify all the spare parts. Whatever the parts are necessary for the machinery, you have to identify it. Make sure that all parts required for maintaining the asset are properly identified. If, for example, a part is required for a major overhaul, there may be several items that are purchased for a one-time use. Once the machinery overhaul is completed, there may be unused parts which have future use and should be inventoried. So, there are certain parts which will be needed for a major overhaul of the machinery. So, once you make use of those parts, then tools, then it has to be kept for future use, so it has to be inventoried. Other equipment in the plant may be able to use the same parts. So rather than maintenance storing these parts without any correlation with the asset, the item should be added to the inventory control system and placed into parts inventory or the EAMS or the CMMS. Then classify all the spare parts. So classify the spare parts as per the criticality. This classification will support the processes to define effective safety stock. Have the right parts, right time with the lowest possible cost at the minimum inventory value. So classify the spare parts, then you see that they have the right parts at the right time with the lowest possible cost. Then utilize and manage the bill of materials. Having accurate bill of materials will support the schedule preventive maintenance that is needed on a given piece of equipment. This process will allow the generation of a work order with the scheduled date of the preventive maintenance. So, the bill of materials will make ordering parts and placing work orders simpler. So, if you can have copy of the bill of materials, so it will be helping us in placing orders. Additionally, make sure that your bill of materials are kept up to date considering the asset status and modification. So, what along with the machinery and the bill of materials should be there to see that we can have asset status and modification on the asset. Use the work order. All spare parts that have been used have to be linked to a work order. For preventive maintenance, work orders requested in advance can be pulled and staged for pickup or delivered to the requesting department. So if there is any breakdown of any machinery in the organization, then a work order should be issued, and in this way we can get it repaired. This will reduce the maintenance department's wait time at the parts warehouse for their work order to be fulfilled. Work orders need to be created for all parts issuance so that the inventory remains accurate. So in case of emergency, it would be possible to understand the historical information related to breakdowns to improve the parts in stock when this is reasonable. So next is maintenance planning. So it can be defined as an end-to-end process that identifies and addresses any possible issues ahead of the time. So what are the various possible breakdowns of the machinery? We have to just foresee it and be prepared for that. So this involves identifying the parts and tools necessary for jobs and making sure they are available and laid out in the appropriate areas, having a planner write out instructions on how to complete a job, and even determining and gathering the necessary parts and tools before a job is assigned. So it also includes tasks related to parts. So whenever we are giving a job order, so we have to ensure that how each materials are used and what are the various tools to be used, and all the tools should be neatly laid out so that the worker can make use of these tools whenever he is working on the job. Then so in this maintenance planning, what are the various things we have to handle? First one is handling the reserve parts. So you have the parts in reserve. How do you handle that? Second one is ordering non-stock parts. So all those parts which are out of stock, we have to order. Then staging parts, illustrating parts, managing breakdowns and vendor list, and quality assurance and quality control. So these are the various ways of maintenance planning. So with this, we come to the end of this session. Hope you have all followed it. Thank you.